Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of the Virtual Island Summit. We've had so many important discussions thus far this week, and I thank you all for joining this next session. My name is Michaela Johnson, and I am the Impact and Growth Manager here at Island Innovation, joining you from Trinidad and Tobago. As many of you know, Island Innovation is a sustainable development consultancy, and our primary focus is on islands. Our services include events, strategic communications, and capacity building. We are trusted by clients around the globe, and if you're interested in learning more about our work, please reach out to us using the contact information in the chat. I'm thrilled to be moderating this session titled Tiara Cook Islands Museum of Cultural Enterprise. This is going to be a fireside chat featuring Stan Wolfgram, the cultural entrepreneur at the museum, the Islands Museum of Cultural Enterprise. Before we begin, you should see a poll appear now on your screen. Please let us know where you are joining from, and of course, what sector and industry you belong to. So far in the chat, I see we have people joining from all around the world, from the Pacific region. Welcome, definitely makes sense for this session. We have Maria from the Azores. Welcome, everyone. Let's take a quick look at the poll results to see who we have in the room with us as well. So high representation from Europe, from North America, followed by the Caribbean and Africa. It's really, really good to see so many different regions represented, and we have quite a good mix of sectors as well, persons from private sector, academia, and NGOs. Thank you all so much for joining us. I invite you to continue to make use of the chat, introduce yourself, let us know where you're joining from, and of course, make any comments during the session. Please make sure to use the Q&A function for any questions that you might have, and we'll do our best to address them when we get to the Q&A part of the discussion. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome on screen our speaker for today's fireside chat, Stan. The floor is all yours. Please come on camera and join me. I'd love to hear, can you please kick us off with an introduction of the Tiara Museum and what your vision behind it was?
So, kia ora, malolele. My name is Stan Wolfram, and I am the CEO here at Tiara. Tiara is an innovation hub. We're a little bit of a disruptor. We're against the norm of the typical economic development models that exist, especially for SIDS. We're actually a privately owned. We're financially self-sustainable. We're a green building, and we're a hub for innovation. We very much work as a catalyst. We have initiatives which are regional or our national initiatives strategy, which is developing our local businesses, local community initiatives. And then we have a global strategy. And that strategy is around working with global stakeholders. And by combining the two, it allows us to access knowledge, access finance, etc. So we work on the global stage. We have 4 areas that we focus on. One of them is ecotourism. It's raining here at the moment. We're going for actually a cyclone. I'm in the Cook Islands and Rarotonga at the moment. So we have ecotourism. Our second strategy is around digital literacy, digital equity. That's platformed on digital storytelling. We very much work around what's relevant for us, especially in our region. So we're very much about joining dots. We're part of the NZ realm, and New Zealand is a $3.8 billion film industry. So there's potential for us to bring our industries together. We work in the space of the agricultural sector, which is high for us in our developing country. And we work in that space of traditional medicines and natural cosmetics. And then the final area we work in is ocean conservation. So that's very much who we are. We're practical. We've been open since 2017. And like I said, we're financially self-sustained. Today we have the data that proves our model is a successful model. That's a bit about who we are.
Definitely a fantastic initiative. And, as you've been doing this work since 2017, are there any tangible outcomes in terms of the benefits of having this type of enterprise that you'd like to share, or any specific success stories?
Yeah, I suppose, as I said, we like to change up on what already exists. So we've recoined a phrase, that phrase of give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, give him a net, you can feed a community. So for us, we extend on that and we say, provide a place for a man and a woman to share knowledge, and you feed generations for generations. And that's our, what sums up what Chiara is for us. We work with over 50 different businesses. They range from farmers to mobile app developers. We work in that space of innovation, taking that to our second tier strategy, which is the global side. We've been able to present and work with the Taiwanese government. They've very much been working on a global strategy around innovation. Around that whole digital literacy, digital equity platform on filmmaking. We partnered with the New Zealand film industry. We signed an MOU with the New Zealand Film Commission. They have mountains, rivers, and streams for their location, but they don't have a tropical location. So we went to them to say that we could provide a tropical location for their domestic clients and their international clients. So we signed the MOU that they would support promoting the Cook Islands as their preferred tropical location as long as we built capacity. And to build capacity, we designed a model, and that model was about fulfilling the lacking components that we had to build capacity, which was really knowledge, technology, and network connections to the global industry. And we ran a competition called Film Raro, where we invited filmmakers to come to the island to make a film with us, short film, and we would pay for everything. We got over 2,000 entries from around the world. They range from film school students to Hollywood producers. We were able to select 6 films that actually were suited our values, but they also were feasible, no helicopters crashing, etc. And we took those 6 scripts and we used the scripts as curriculum. We ran a course for 3 months for the locals. In the last 10 days, we flew in the film teams. They partnered with our people who made short films. They had to post-produce on the island because that's always where our people miss out. They tend to post-produce at home. We said, no, you have to post-produce here. So they did that, and we did a local screening where we had a big blow-up screen, and we invited the entire community to come. From there, the films went into international film festivals around the world, and they won awards. So we've just finished the second run of Film Raro 2. This time it was funded by the European Union under their ACP program. So it was great that the European Union could actually look to put funding towards culture. Generally, they put funding into infrastructure. So we're glad that they looked at culture. For us, we understand the value of that when it comes to sustainability and development. So those films have just gone through where we've done the local screening and we're prepping those films for international release to the festivals. One film is very good, so we're looking at putting that towards the top 5 film festivals in the world. So those are another one, our ocean strategy. We were able to get funding from MFAT, New Zealand, DFAT, Australia, and the US Embassy to develop for us in the Pacific, we feel that what's missing in the global conversation around ocean, climate change and ocean degradation, what's actually missing is our Pacific voice. So we wanted to create a platform where we could take our voice to the world. because we can sit here in the middle of the ocean and we can talk about the issues, but we need to go to the doorstep of those nations that are actually the promoters of climate change. So for us, we devised a touring exhibition. It's the same as the likes of the Van Gogh exhibition. It's an immersive exhibition. It's a tech exhibition, and all the feasibility and design, etc., has been funded by EFAT, the US Embassy. We're out there at the moment looking for funding for that, but we've done a business model. We've engaged with all of the locations, the likes of the Met in New York, all the Humboldt in Germany, and so they say just build it and they'll take it. So that's the type of thing we do. We look at platforms where we could take our voice to the world. We talk about platforms that generally for us to take our voice to the world, we have to wait to be invited to platforms. And then when we get there, we're agendaed. And so for us, our solution is build our own platforms and then take them to the doorstep of the stakeholders. And so that's very much what Te Ara does. Yeah. So that's a little bit about us. That ocean strategy, we ended up actually partnering in the US. We partnered with various aquariums, Wonders of Wildlife, and actually corporate-wise, we ended up partnering with Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, which is the largest actually hunting and fishing chain throughout the US. But for them, we went there with a values proposition from our perspective, from a Pacific perspective. An example of that, we went to them with a proposition of we would call it a value proposition that we have, which is, and it's around ocean conservation, which is give the first fish you catch back to the sea. And we presented that to them for an understanding of who we are. They could see the value in that for their business proposition around sustainability and conservation. So we work with a lot of different organizations in that way. We worked in Australia with a large, actually, shopping mall organization called Westfield, and they're global. And we work with them around the proposition of, instead of a brick and mortar retail venue, we spoke to them about being a village center, and a center where the village would come together to make the most important decisions for the community. So those are kind of the strategies and the way that we work, taking our values that we support and that we reinforce here on the island through our own through Te Ara. And because Te Ara is financially self-sustained, we don't need to follow others' agendas. We're able to present our own agenda. In the past, it's been there. We would be presented with a round circle, and we would say, but we're a square. And they would say, well, put the circle into the square and we'll support you. And so we would do it. And of course, it's not sustainable, and those projects would fail. They would have no longevity. So the other way around now is that we're actually presenting our model and going, how can you fit, or how can we come together to work together? And I'd say a big influencer for that discussion in the Pacific is the geopolitics that's going on with us in the Pacific at the moment, especially between the West and the East. Before it used to be really there was only one discussion, and now for us, we're able to say, hang on, I've just got to speak to somebody else. And now the other parties are going, why? Did you have something to say? And we're saying, yeah. So now we're having these wonderful discussions that we've never had before in the region. There you go. A bit about us.
No, I mean, what you said, Stan, about taking yourself to the platform rather than waiting to be invited, I think that's a sentiment that is felt across the Pacific, across all small island developing states. I do see we have a question from the audience. Grace from Jamaica She's asking how something like this can be implemented in the Caribbean region. What would be your first step if you were to recommend as to how this can be implemented in that region?
So we designed Te Ara to be reiterated. It was designed to be reiterated amongst SIDS. And so the model is there. We basically created a Bible and we created a working model that could be easily transposed into any developing nation. For us, that's always been our goal because we know that then we could set up another organization that we could come together collectively. We would share our revenue models, we would share our best practices, and then we would have access to resources that we don't have in each of the different nations. So that was the whole idea, is to reiterate these in different locations, share all the different learning and revenue models. And then the next thing was to then build one of these in basically a stakeholder location. And by building one of those in a stakeholder location, like a major capital city, then that gave us direct access to market or into that marketplace. So we could build in London, we could build in New York, or Los Angeles, or Sydney, etc. So that's the whole idea. We created the model to be reiterated like that. We had to get through COVID because we opened in 2017. We got through COVID, now we're on the other side. But the thing is, we have the data that shows the model is successful. The only thing is now we're up against agencies that have different agendas. But what we want to do is be able to sit at the table and put our model to be critiqued amongst their model. We know that our model works and it supports our local communities and our local values. So that's one way of so we're open to any discussions with organizations of how we could bring Te Ara to any other location.
Yeah, fantastic. I definitely see some opportunities for collaboration there. I think, as I said, island communities and SIDS typically face very similar issues. And I think it's definitely an opportunity for collaboration and learning from each other and how we can build on existing frameworks. So Stan, this brings us just about to the end of our discussion, but is there anything else, any parting words that you would like to share before we wrap up?
No, look, we're very happy for this platform. So thank you to Island Innovation for the opportunity. We're open to any other dialogue. So if anybody wants to contact us, please make contact. Ours is about, our company, we had our mission statement, which is a valued voice in our own backyard. And so we've always been about how we can promote ourselves. And we know that coming together collectively is the way to do it moving forward into the future. So, yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely fantastic chatting with you. And you mentioned those films. We typically do film screenings at the VIS. So we did one yesterday. It was from the Shetlands and the Highlands on climate action. And I think it would be fantastic for the next edition to have something from the Cook Islands. So definitely keep us on your radar for that. And excited to have you back next year. Thank you so much for such an insightful discussion. It'd be fantastic if you can also drop your contact information in the chat. So anybody who has joined the session and wants to get in contact with you can do that. And of course, thank you so much to our audience for tuning in. Please allow me to just make a quick announcement before we hop off. For those of you who might have missed it, we announced very exciting news during our opening session on Monday. Island Innovation is partnering with the Cabildo of Gran Canaria to host the Global Sustainable Island Summit 2026. So after this year's experience in St. Kitts and Nevis, we're now shifting the focus to the Micronesian region and Europe. So the summit will be held from April 20th to 23rd of 2026, and we will be discussing solutions and advancements in sustainability, all relevant to islands. Please note that all attendees of this week's virtual summit can get an additional discount on your early bird tickets, and there'll be a special coupon code that will be shared with you now in the chat. We do have one final session for today that is on digitization and AI, specifically on maximizing island structures and governance. And that will begin at 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, so just in about 2.5 hours. So thank you all once again for joining us for this discussion.